All right, so what's your beef? Or to quote Rex in Albuquerque, is this your beef jerky segment,
Is this
Romy?
the beef jerky segment?
Yes, something like that, Rex. Let's start on the email. Hey, Rome, I got beef with dentists. Why are you asking me questions or trying to make me laugh with lame jokes? I'm lying in the chair. Half my face is numb, and you got a drill up in there. I can't respond, and laughing would cause you to cut my mouth up. Jeremiah in Greenville. Yeah, it's not great. It's kind of like when you go to the doctor and they try to give you a shot. All right, coming in 1, 2. Oh, got me again. You jabbed me on 2 instead of 3 because you thought I wouldn't expect it. Way to go, nurse practitioner. Hey, Jumpman, what's my beef? My beef is with that dumpster fire that is the Cleveland Browns organization. Here's to more years of suffering with these incompetent morons. Steve in the CLE. Yeah, that went really badly. Gotta admit, I was riding that bandwagon into the ground. And they made them look bad, and they made me look bad, and it doesn't feel good. I understand why you might have beef. Let's go to Twitter. JC in Calgary tweets, my beef is with a slice of cheese, some pickles, ketchup, and mustard, sandwiched between a bun. Signed, Beaks. It's not the beef I'm talking about. It's the what's your beef segment, not your choice of meat segment or how you eat your meat segment. Brian Dino tweets, Jim, what's my beef? I haven't heard a phone call with a donkey yelling in the background for at least a decade. Where is Jim from Fall River? The greatest call in jungle history.
You know,
I don't think, one second,
catch...
Albie. I don't think you can reference the greatest call in jungle history and not somehow reference the BIC. However, this is one of the greatest calls in jungle history. Maybe the greatest call never to win a smack off in jungle history. And frankly, you know, I shouted out to this guy, Jim in Fall River, for years. One of my favorite callers. I have no idea what happened to him, but he did make this call back in the day.
A picture of what the jungle might sound like without the host, without the famous guests, without the facts and the emails, and without my takes. It wouldn't be a very appealing sound. I love trouble. For a few clones, I hate you all a-holes on the street. I avoid you at any cost. You are lined up to piss on my debut. Your prize will be a leg and a boot. Barking Mark in Buffalo. Just the fact alone that you chose Flutie to run smack on makes you look like the no-take wonder you are. I can't wait for you to break out with some Lance Armstrong or Eric Davis smack. You know, the only way you can win this thing is if you called on a cell phone while barrel jumping Niagara. Bet you can't do it, buddy. Before Hassig arrived, Buffalo's greatest athlete was Bob McAdoo. Look how that turned out. The only thing Buffalo has over Kraft Chester is a chicken wing recipe that you didn't actually invent. When Dan Rather still has facilities in order, his most famous quote was, Americans will put up with anything provided it doesn't block traffic. Which brings me to the Palm Pilot, Jeffrey in Phoenix. Jeffrey being chucked the bird by other drivers on a greasy car phone somewhere in the valley. Jeffrey is living proof that of all the clones with nothing to add, maybe 10% of them decide not to call. The next time I care what another clone does for work will be the first time. You waste time with your Wall Street delusions while giving us Walmart takes, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, cough up a buck and send Rome a free fruit basket instead of making us yawn while you endanger other Valley transients, residents in your car phone, calling up to tell me you can't feel the pain of Celtic fan. Tell me something, buddy. Walter Davis, Jason Kidd, and you are the biggest yellow rat bastards in Maricopa County. When you get clever, want to throw a Jody Foster reset look on the map. The Big Dan's rape trial.
Is that in the background?
Not Fall River. Fall River is the place where 100 years ago...
Jim, what is that? What is that animal in the background?
She was Lizzie Borden, and the house now is an historically present...
All right, Alvin, you were not there for that call, right? Brian Albers probably was. Why did we ever run that guy? And I never got an answer to the question, what is that in the background? Would you believe that phone call, as great as that phone call was, and you can tell it was dated by who we referenced, there was a Palm Pilot reference in there. And does that call stand up or what? That call was made 20 years ago on this show. That call was made in the year 2000. So, yeah, for about 10 years, I would shout out to Jim in Fall River. Jim in Fall River, where are you, bro? You can come to the smack off anytime. You don't even need to show up during the year. Just show up that day. And never did. I have no idea what happened to him. And the amazing thing is, I would argue that was not even his best call. He's made better calls than that call. I have no idea what happened to him. Just like I have no idea what happened to a lot of people. But that guy was that good that he still gets referenced 20 years later. All right, so let me do this. Let me break because we're over. When we come back, I'll do something rare. I will actually let the beef segment jump the segment. Let's continue with the What's Your Beef?
Is this the beef jerky segment?
It is. Second segment in a row. Quickly. Hey, Jim, my beef is with Chipotle's new delivery app. Why is the maximum order amount only $200? Signed, Dairy Bradshaw. Brett from Bugaha, bringing it in 2020 is how he signed it. Just slinging crap, bringing it in 2020. Hey, Brett. You mean Terry Bradshaw, the guy with 4 Super Bowl rings? One of the greatest to ever do it. Network star, good dude. Childhood hero of Jim Rome, host of this show. A guy who's been on our podcast. You're going to come in here and take a run at him. When you already do nothing but sling crap around here and make the show worse. You've been warned, dude. One more horrible submission, and you are the first block of 2020. And I'm trying to remember. I don't think I actually did block anybody in 2019. You might be the first block in the last 10 years. That's how bad you are, Brett. I think I did block Mike in Buffalo last year. That was the one block of 19. I'm more than happy to make you the first block of 2020. Brett, let's go to Grand Rapids. Maury, the beef segment goes to the phones. Maury, what's your beef?
Jim, you might wonder why a guy from Michigan has a beef with Jerry Jones, but let me lay this out for you, okay? If Jerry Jones would have simply let Jim Harbaugh know that he was having a sleepover, we might very well be talking about Jim Harbaugh as the Dallas Cowboys coach, because this is a fact, Jim. Jim Harbaugh spent the night at then recruit Quinn Nordin's house. Now, of course, he's the kicker for Michigan. And I'm certain, Jim, we would be free from mediocrity as we know it here as Michigan fans in football, and maybe go poach somebody like P.J. Fleck. But I'm sure we'd be talking about Jim Harbaugh as the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And not to be undone, Jim, I still got a beef with that Rick in Buffalo because, as you know, he cost me 10 large at last year's smack-off.
I got you, Maury. All right. Maury in Grand Rapids saying my beef is with Jerry Jones for not hiring Jim Harbaugh. Could have taken that guy off our hands. We wouldn't have the problem we have right now. Yeah, I don't know, man. How bad is it, Maury? You win 9 games every single year. Granted, you never beat anybody who matters. Granted, you never win a big game. Granted, you can't beat your rival. Granted, he will say and do things to embarrass you and aggravate people. But you do win 9 games every year, right? Finishing 3rd in your own division. It's not that bad. It's better than it was. It'll never be as good as it was supposed to be with Harbaugh because he never will be there, but it's better than it was. Just don't expect him to ever beat Ohio State because that's not going to happen anytime soon. What's your beef? Let's go to Omaha, Nebraska. Kathleen in Omaha. Kathleen, what's your beef?
My beef is with Mr. Luscious ass Sidney Crosby for not getting his surgery earlier. If that sugar muffin had got it sooner, he wouldn't be missing all this time right now. And the Penguins already lost Jake for the year, and they need Sidney back now rather than later.
Kathleen, the thing is, it sounds like you have a really high threshold for sugar muffins pain.
Well, he should have got the surgery earlier. I heard he needed it since training camp.
Surgery?
Why didn't he get it then?
Because surgery is the last option. You never know what's going to happen with a surgery. Something bad could happen, especially to your little sugar muffin.
He is a sugar muffin.
with a luscious ass.
That too.
Thank you. All right, Kathleen. Appreciate your beef. Kathleen in Omaha. She's got a one-track mind. That's a one-trick pony. A one-topic caller. Sidney Crosby and his, quote, luscious ass. Although she had never glossed him sugar muffin before.
How did he get that big, luscious ass and those succulent lips? Is your ass bigger than Madison Bumgarner of the San Francisco Giants? Oh, man.
That's what I thought. Like, remember when I mentioned earlier, credit to Louis Slungpoo for not losing it during his phone call? Kind of like she just did right there. Louis, though, was composed. Kathleen, not so much. That's what happened when I opened up the voicemails to the podcast. Kathleen started calling with things like that. Let's go to Josh in the Panhandle. Josh, what's your beef?
Hey, Romy. Thanks for the vine. First time, long time.
Right on.
Hey, I've got a beef with the Giants, but not for the reasons that you might think. Everybody seems to be crazy about this new head coach hire or whatever, but they did the same thing last year with Daniel Jones. They had to even give him a nickname so that people even know who he was. But they passed up on a lot of people. That was who they were after, according to them. So this move doesn't. It's par for the course for these guys. The beef that I have with them is that the city that they're playing in deserves better. I know those people. I know those fans. The G-men are great, and they absolutely deserve better. So Giants, do me a favor and pull your head out of wherever it is. Maybe you guys need to go down to Jerry Jones's place and have a little sleepover and figure this thing out. But do better for the city.
Do better. Josh, thanks so much. Josh in the Panhandle saying, he said, I don't really have an issue with what you might think I have an issue for. Actually, Josh, it sounds like that's exactly what you have an issue with.